Away from Thanksgiving, which means holiday travel, that window has officially begun. A lot of you are going to hit the roads or even take to the skies today, which is going to make the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport one of the busiest places in the city during this time, especially this particular time, 6 a.m. Jim Stratman, this is the point in the morning where that first big push of flights on the eastern part of the country gets up in the air.
Exactly, Eric. And you and I know this very well. Obviously, you're a very experienced traveler. You want to get here very early, especially if you had that flight before the 8 a.m. hour. But what we're not really seeing right now is a lot of very long lines. In fact, we're out here just next to the TSA pre-check area, the TSA security lines, and I don't think I can recall seeing a TSA line this short at this point in the morning. They are moving remarkably fast, but even still, it doesn't mean you should not plan ahead, because we know from AAA, we know from SDF officials, they are expecting near record crowds to come through airports this year. 54 million Americans expected to travel this year, 5 million expected to take to the skies, and SDF saying that they could see upwards of 100,000 passengers coming in either through departures or through arrivals as well. This is going to be a very busy time for the airport, and they are saying in order to try to cut down on your wait times, get here 2.5 hours early if you have a flight before 8 a.m. Make sure you are constantly checking your departure time with your airport, seeing if you've gotten a delay at all, or checking the weather as well, either here in Louisville or wherever you're going. All of that can play into this whole can play into whether or not your flight is getting delayed or whether or not is on time. And again, there are a lot of people that are going to be traveling this holiday season. AAA saying that this is just kind of pent-up demand from COVID-19, but we are still seeing that rebound, and it is rebounding very strongly.
People have that money set aside for vacations and to spend time with family and friends. That's a priority for a lot of Americans. So they'll cut back in other areas, even when prices might be a little higher for flights or for gasoline, although that's not the case this year. So people love to travel, and Thanksgiving is synonymous with spending time with family and friends.
SDF says that you should continue to be prepared for your flight ahead of time. Also, they have credited the fact that they are fully staffed when it comes, or they are staffed completely for TSA agents. They're not seeing staff shortages like we're seeing at other parts of the country, which could explain some of the shorter lines that we're seeing through security. Eric, we're going to be back here with more from an SDF official coming up here in the next half hour.
We don't even realize it, Jim, but this live shot that you just performed will likely go down in history. You said the TSA is performing remarkably fast on the busiest travel day of the year. That is huge. We'll check back in with you a little bit later in the show, Jim, but certainly good news coming out of the airport. Hey, if you're driving for the holiday, AAA predicts more than 49 million Americans will be on the roads with you. And it says the best time to travel is early. You're going to see the least amount of traffic today before 11 a.m. The worst will be between 2 and 6. Now tomorrow, you might want to try hitting the road before 10 a.m. or after 5 p.m. You'll have the most trouble between the hours of 11 and 3. And if you're hitting the road on Black Friday, shoot for before 11 a.m. or after 7 p.m. because AAA predicts the worst road conditions will be between noon and 4. And when we say road conditions, we mean the amount of people on the road, not actually the conditions themselves. 5 after 6 now. The case is now closed on one of Louisville's darkest days. The Louisville Metro Police Department has ended its investigation into the mass shooting at Old National Bank. It released a 64-page report detailing its findings. WHAS11's Taylor Woods has the details.
Body camera video shows Louisville Metro Police officers Nicholas Wilt and Corey Galloway arriving to Old National Bank April 10th. Tuesday afternoon, LMPD released a 64-page report detailing personal notes and letters that 25-year-old bank employee Connor Sturgeon wrote to family and friends days before the shooting. The evidence file includes this selfie taken by Sturgeon 5 days before the shooting, portraying the Joker face that's popular on social media. Sturgeon described how easy it was for him to buy an AR-15, 4 magazines, and 120 rounds of ammunition for $700. That receipt from River City Firearms is seen here.
I mean, not only his note, it's proven every day through the mass shootings that happen across the country that how easy it is to buy an assault weapon.
Police say he fired a total of 40 rounds that day. Sturgeon called himself a psycho, telling his parents to fight lawmakers on lax gun laws, asking for them to stop the sale of weapons of mass destruction. In the end, Sturgeon said he had two goals: kill himself and stop gun violence, to send a message to politicians. In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 on your side.
In a statement on behalf of survivors and families, attorneys say in part, our hearts are with our clients this week as they process this painful report, while many of them have an empty seat at their Thanksgiving table, or they reflect on the deep trauma they've experienced this year. Now that the LMPD investigation has been released, a group of survivors and victims' families from the Old National Bank shooting are planning to sue the gun manufacturer Radical Firearms of Texas. The victim's attorney, Tad Thomas, says the goal of the lawsuit is to make sure weapons of mass destruction are not in the hands of people that are mentally unable to handle them. That report also dives into how the shooting unfolded that day. If you'd like to read those details or see the full 64-page report, just click on this story on our homepage, WHAS11.com. A domestic violence suspect shot by a Louisville Metro police officer last week is now facing federal charges. A federal grand jury indicted Geron Bobbett for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Police say Bobbett was armed with an AR-style gun, and you can see it circled here by LMPD in this body camera video when he ran from officers near Wyandotte Park. Investigators say an officer shot him when he refused to drop the weapon. Federal prosecutors say Bobbett was prohibited from having a gun because he has 7 prior felony convictions dating all the way back to 2001. And the LMPD says he continues to be a threat to the public.
Obviously, to be armed with that type of weapon and then resist police commands, continue to resist police commands, run through a neighborhood that is obviously occupied by homes and people, he presents himself as a very immediate threat to the public.
Bobbett is also facing state charges, including assault and fleeing from police.